This is Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding. For the next hour, you'll learn impactful insider information as Christian and Dan teach about the ins and outs of Seattle's real estate market. Now, here's Christian and Dan.
Hello. Happy Monday. Good afternoon. Welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM. I am Christian Nossum, Seattle Real Estate Agent.
And I am your co-host, Dan Keller, Seattle area. I can't say Seattle area. I mean, I kind of do. It's Snohomish County.
You're all over Seattle area.
This last month, I've been down in Pierce County. But mortgages. I am the Seattle area mortgage guy, Dan Keller with New American Funding. It's great to be here. I appreciate everybody who is tuning in today, whether you're at home, in your cubicle, in your car,
Tuning in on iHeart,
or listening on YouTube.
Yeah, watching the hello, all you
watching
YouTube
the replay.
Watchers.
Yeah, which we want to always bring up that each one of these episodes are recorded. We actually do record them on video.
Yep.
So that you can go back and watch and see.
We have a cool new Sky Cam.
Yeah, we do actually. It does feel. That's what we were making a joke earlier that, hey, welcome to Seattle Real Estate Radio Sky Cam. It is. It's up there, isn't it?
It is up there. It's a cool angle, though. It looks nice.
Yeah.
It looks good.
No, it's good. It's we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah.
Craziness is happening in the new year right off the bat. You know, we'll get to this later on, but first time, this is the worst the stock market has opened in 29 years.
Wow.
Opened a new year. So it's the worst that the stock market has opened a new year in 29 years.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, we've got...
That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. You know, we got, Iran over there messing
doing
with
their
our
thing.
Navy. My dad's Navy, and he's just fired up. He's like, I don't want to get into politics right now, but he's not a huge Obama supporter, and he's just like, he comes from the Vietnam era, and he's like, nobody messes with the Navy, and that's messing with the Navy. I mean, you saw the pictures. The dudes were on the deck on their knees with their hands. So a lot going on, and all of that affects the real estate markets over here in Washington State, in Seattle. So we'll get to that later in the show, but a lot going on, man.
Yeah, and China, their stuff, and was it
mess.
Scotland or what country was it that said sell every stock?
Yeah, one of those over there.
I don't know.
I remember hearing something like that, though. Well, China, you saw my Facebook post, and kind of a little tangent here. If you're not following Christian and I both on Facebook, mine is just Dan Keller, mortgage speaker, author, and mortgage advisor. But I post a lot over there on news and what's going on. But
yeah, you do a great job with video, just real quick videos that kind of get to the point.
Yep.
And explain what's going on and
when something happens, or if it's something that you need to know. It's not a waste of breath. I don't really enjoy hearing myself speak. So, but no, China's a mess. China's stock market crashed, which caused ours to fall, which has played a big role in why our stock market has taken off on such a ugly downward slide. But
to start
hey,
the year.
The positive. What's the positive? The positive is mortgage rates are back down in the upper threes.
That's crazy.
Contrary to like 3 or 4 shows ago, I said you got to keep your eye on a few things because the Mortgage Bankers Association, Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are saying that rates are going to be up at 4.5% to 5% this year.
Yep.
On the contrary, so that's why it's so important to tune into stuff like this and follow us.
And that's why we're here every single week too. That's why we're here talking, explaining what's going on, giving you an update on real time what's happening.
Down in the trenches, baby.
Yep.
Sleeves are rolled up today.
Exactly. You got the vest on, but your sleeves are rolled up.
Exactly. Kind of like 50-50.
Exactly. Looking good, but still getting dirty.
All day.
That's funny. So we need to plug something real quick.
Yeah.
And that is our next homebuyer class coming up. If anyone is interested in attending, it's open to anyone. It's near Amazon in South Lake Union. We get a ton of Amazon clients that show up, but it's not just for Amazon people. It's for everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody can show up.
Well, Christian, you and I originally started it because we were doing so much business at Amazon. We were like, let's just host a homebuyer class for Amazon employees.
Yeah.
We blew it up.
Yeah.
And so, but now we're finding that, we're getting not just Amazon, probably 70% because it's down there.
Yep.
But no, tell us more about it. It's a great.
No, I mean, like
event.
one of our clients is the owner of Hip Cooks, which is the cooking place right down there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's there's a lot of people that attend. And if you want to come, it's going to be February 17th. Okay. February 17th, it's Wednesday.
At our favorite Mexican restaurant.
Favorite one, Cactus, South Lake Union.
Yep.
We have the entire upstairs reserved just for us. Yep. They got a nice, they have a nice little room up there. They got a nice TV on the wall that we can project the slides. It's only an hour. It's 5:30 to 6:30. Yeah. Super short. Dan talks for half of it. I talk for half of it. Just to get you up to speed on what you need to do to see if you're even able to buy or what you can afford.
Well, listen, it's not your typical home buyer class. It's not a class, Christian. No. And this is when people leave, they're like, we love how informal it was, but how formal the information was.
Exactly.
The format is amazing. And so
that's why, I mean, it's called beersandhomebuying.com. That's the website. So it's not like super, fancy. Yeah, that's not how we ever roll, though. That's just us in general.
Well, here's something to consider, though. Every single time we do one of these, we do them in about every 6 weeks, I think. They're packed. Yep. The last one we capped at about 26, 28 people.
Yeah, but we ended up having
overflow.
Standing room.
Yeah, but if you haven't attended before or watched one of the videos, what we do, Christian and I, we cater it. So food's on us. We open the bar. We'd like you to have no more than 2 drinks, but to keep it, somewhat. We got to be somewhat responsible. No.
People end up having more than that. It's all right. If they want, you don't have to. But there's so many people that are just walking there after work.
Yeah, they do. They come right in.
Yeah, they actually end up eating the appetizers and filling up enough to have dinner on us, basically.
Yep. Dinner and drinks on us. They and then we talk. The actual mixer is for about an hour, and then you and I stay around afterward and
answer questions.
Gosh, last time, a couple of our guests stayed like an hour after.
Yeah, we're just going over their specific situations and seeing what we can do to help. And then after the next day or 2 days later, what we end up doing is meeting up face-to-face, little half-hour segments with anybody that wants to have some more information about their specific situation. Yeah. And we'll meet you face-to-face.
So, again, if you haven't heard or watched a video on this class, exactly what Christian's talking about is you come to the class, you get a lot of information. A lot of the times, Christian and I will bring a financial planner as a guest. We'll bring an insurance agent as a guest just to talk for 2 or 3 minutes. And then, again, in the mixer format, you can then have an extended conversation with that person or those professionals. But what we do following the event, at the very end, we have all of our guests fill out a form, a questionnaire, and if they're interested, and a time block to set appointments. If they're interested, they book their time, and then what we ask you to do is fill out our at the mortgage bank secure online application. And what we do at that meeting is we do a full credit review. I've had a chance to look over everything and give you a credit review. We've started the pre-approval process and the budgeting process, and then it's just the follow. We take the next steps depending on your timeline. So it's great stuff, man.
Yep. So again, the website is beersandhomebuying.com. Beersandhomebuying.com.
Beers. And homebuying.com. It's awesome. It's and on social media, we've gotten great feedback from it. I have real estate coaches and mortgage coaches and business coaches all over the country going, nice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice job. So, anyways.
Yeah. So today, our guest is going to be pretty fun. He's is he one of the owners? Is that what he is? Yeah. I think he's one of the owners of the Ballard Reuse store. So they use reclaimed materials. It's pretty awesome. So I'm excited that he's coming on. So he's going to be on in the next segment. But speaking of remodeling and stuff, you basically built a new house when you built your place, and you definitely use some reclaimed materials. I know is it your bedroom?
Your
bedroom?
Yeah, there's a lot. My wife is just so creative with that type of stuff. She's always going to estate sales and antiques sales. But what she did is she was in 2 of our barns. There was 2 barns on the property, and she just went out there and was like, bingo, bingo, bingo. We tore down a fence that had just old wood, and she made a sliding pantry door out of just old barn wood. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 things in our house that are we pulled out of a barn, and it sounds crazy, but until you see it, it's pretty darn cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then what we've done too with a couple of other things is it's really neat how you refurbish things. So we're going to talk more about that. We got a couple minutes before we go to break. I really want to know what's going on in the Seattle real estate market. So bring us up to speed, man.
All right. So it's actually a good time to do that. So we started off the year beginning first, second week in January. We're the 18th now. First week, there was still nothing on the market. We still had the lowest inventory since 1999. And just within the last probably, 6-7 days, stuff has just started to trickle on. Cool. In the lower price ranges, so in Seattle, that means $4 to $550-ish. There's still not much out there. It's still really, really minimal. But when you get to the $750 to $1 million plus, all of a sudden, it's just a ton of stuff's coming on.
Wow. Okay.
So the buyers that I'm working with and the sellers that I'm talking to that are in that price range, there's actually stuff to look at and compare. And it's nice because we haven't had that for 2-3 months, ever since probably Thanksgiving.
Wow.
So it's kind of nice to be able to finally go look at homes and have some
See
selection.
something new.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's been super sparse.
Wow.
And it's tough. It's tough for buyers because there's just nothing to choose from. And from what is out there, everyone's going after it. And so, and I'm talking more specifically Seattle, Bellevue, Redmond, that market, those prime markets. That's where everything's it's pretty picked over and super competitive.
Well, I appreciate you staying on top of that because just to see
Well,
that
again,
uptick,
in the trenches. My sleeves are not rolled up like you, but I'm in the trenches doing it every day.
Yeah, good. Well, appreciate the update. That's awesome. Take us to break, and then when we come back, we are going to we're gonna have a great time with our
Actually,
guests.
before we go, I actually want to say one other thing. So, a couple of items that popped up that were pretty sweet. That I remember when we had Travis on from Woodcrafters. He was talking about the cost versus value report.
Yes.
Where you can actually see per region. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit after break. But basically, in Seattle, steel front doors, and garage doors are the two that get you the most value.
Wow, I had no idea.
Kind of interesting.
Had no idea.
So we'll talk to Joel when we come back. So stay tuned to Seattle Real Estate Radio.
Nice.
Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, continues after this.
All right, hey, welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio on KKOL Business Radio, 1300 AM. Hey, just a reminder, we're here every single Monday. Christian, every Monday, man.
Every Monday.
Every Monday at 3 o'clock.
Yep.
Hitting you up in your cubicles,
Cubes.
car, home. And then, again, just a reminder, they're all recorded.
They're all recorded.
Yeah, we send these out all the time.
Stream it on iHeartRadio
live.
Or if you just want to hear our voice any other time, download the podcast.
Download them. No, it's good stuff. What I love doing is sending them back out, re-syndicating them on Facebook and Twitter, and then getting responses from people. Hey, I was watching your show from November.
Yeah,
and it's January.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Hey, we've got a great guest today. Why don't you introduce him and let's learn.
So today we have the man of Ballard Reuse, Joel Blaschke. So Ballard Reuse is a pretty sweet store. But first, I'm going to tell you a little about him. Then I'll go into what Ballard Reuse actually is, or maybe I'll let him do it. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll plan it out as we go. So Joel is trained in the field of salvage and reuse, and prior to working at Ballard Reuse, he was the field crew manager at the Seattle Restore, where he worked for 12 years. Over the past 14 years, he and his crew have managed to divert over 1 million pounds of reusable materials from the landfill annually. And before getting into the salvage field, he sold shipping containers and semi-trailers in Tacoma. He's born and raised in the Northwest, grew up in Auburn, moved to Seattle in 95 to attend college. Joel and his wife, Allison, currently live in North Seattle in a cottage that they renovated pretty much completely with salvage material. So, Joel, thank you very much for coming on.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks for having me.
Do you want to show the listener or the watchers your sweet sweet gear? Ballard Reuse sweatshirt. Yeah, that's showing up real nice.
Yeah,
Good
we just
job.
had these made for the crew to keep them warm in our unheated warehouse store in Ballard. So
probably important. So I know I've been there before, Dan. I don't think you've been there, but it's a pretty sweet location for having that.
It's pretty great. Yeah.
So you're like right off 15th and Market.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
just north of the bridge, south of Market. I mean, right on 15th Ave Northwest, in the heart of kind of Ballard. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, people drive by. They don't know who we are. They see our sign and they stop by, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what Ballard Reuse is for anyone that's never heard of it or seen it?
So Ballard Reuse is an architectural salvage store. We're open 7 days a week. People bring us all kinds of building materials, doors, windows, hardwood flooring, appliances, you name it. It's kind of like a giant thrift store for building materials. Wow.
Cool.
That's how I describe it.
So
light
that's
fixtures.
a good way to say it, actually.
Yeah.
So say I'm remodeling my house, and I'm going to redo all the doors and the lights and the light fixtures and everything. I'm going to throw it all away. Oh, no. I can give it all to you instead.
Yeah, so what you would do, either you or your contractor, ideally you would call us because you would save more money than having your contractor call you because he's getting paid to remove it.
Exactly.
So you'd call us, I would come out and take a look, create a list, and then you would schedule us like any other subcontractor, and we'd come out in one day and pull everything out.
Wow.
We don't charge for that, and we can give you a tax donation receipt or in-store credit.
Wow.
And the thing to think about is everyone says, we don't have time for salvage. Almost 95% of our jobs last less than 1 day. A lot of them are half a day.
Wow.
So when a contractor tells you they don't have time, it's not true. There's always time.
Yeah.
So,
it's probably because they're not making money off of you.
Yeah. They do love us, though, because they're getting paid, and then they call us, and we remove the stuff.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
then they look like heroes.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
So what kind of material do you see more often or most often? And then on the flip side, what's kind of the most coveted?
So right now everyone wants barnwood, which is kind of gray. You know, I mean, you could take your cedar fence in West Seattle. We could take it down and say it's barnwood. You know, it's just weathered wood. You know, people want that. We see a lot of kitchen cabinets. I mean, we could probably fill 5 warehouses full of doors and light fixtures, cheap Home Depot light fixtures, things like that from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, particle board cabinets, things like that. We see a lot of that we turn down. But doors are probably the most common that we see that we could fill up tons and tons of space with that. So we have to be selective about that stuff.
I'm sure you got to pick the nice solid wood kind of craftsman style.
Well, everything around here is fir.
Yeah.
So any painted solid door in any house in Seattle, Western Washington is fir. So underneath that paint is solid fir. Particle board slab doors, you know, the hollow core doors are a dime a dozen.
Yeah.
They just, you can't sand them. You can't, they're
can't do anything.
Yeah,
with
you
it.
can go to Home Depot and buy one for $30. And so
Yeah.
it's kind of a throwaway item, which is too bad.
Yeah.
People are always looking for stainless steel high-end appliances, you know, Wolf, Viking, Sub-Zero.
I actually
Mealy.
saw on your blog, the Ballard Reuse website on the blog, you guys have like a list of upcoming items, which I thought was pretty sweet.
Yeah.
And I've actually been following you on Instagram for a while.
Oh, great.
And I always like seeing the cat wandering around wherever he's sleeping.
Yeah.
And yeah, I saw that you had some nice appliances coming in this last week.
Yeah, so there was a house on Capitol Hill, and it was renovated probably mid-2000s and had a nice Wolf range and a Sub-Zero fridge, and they wanted to go with something new, so we ripped it out. Yeah. And nice
darn.
maple cabinets. Yeah. So, yeah, and the Wolf, it was a Wolf gas cooktop, 6-burner, and I think we sold it for $300.
Wow.
You know, it's 10 years old, but
still.
Yeah. Oh, and a contractor bought it.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was really excited for his own house.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, yeah, it was great.
That's
What's
awesome.
What's your Instagram handle for our listeners?
That's a good question.
I think it's Ballard_reuse, or maybe it's just Ballard Reuse. We'll put it on the blog.
Okay,
We'll put it on the website.
Yeah, sorry, I should know that. I follow it.
Ballard_reuse. Yeah.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
It's pretty great. I think we reached 1,000 followers in little under a year. And Brian O'Neill, our store manager, he's the guy who handles that. And
Sweet.
It's great. Yeah.
Well, you just got another follower because I'm following it right now, but it is pretty neat. If you know, nowadays with photos, it's huge. You can see exactly some of the finds that you guys you're going out and finding. So yeah, hit them up on Instagram if you'd like, Ballard_reuse. So.
Well, and the cool thing about Instagram, we're not trying to sell stuff on there. We're just trying to get people to get interested, and they see stuff, and it's just a cool way to
to show off what you
yeah.
got coming in. And
and people love the cats. And it's funny when we post stuff about the cats; those get the most likes of anybody. Yeah, so
cats are pretty amazing online. They have a magical power about them.
So
especially if they have laser eyes.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, what's kind of the coolest things that you found for your own place when you redid your cottage?
So, probably one of my favorite pieces. We have a 1920s. They call them left-hand, right-hand tubs. It's instead of an alcove tub that has two walls on both sides. It's an open curved tub. Some people call them J tubs. It came from an apartment building on Queen Anne, the Cary Ave Apartments, and it was just a great tub. I love it. The house was built in the 40s. This is from the 20s, and it kind of anchors the new bathroom. And when we took them out, it was kind of cool. Behind the walls, there was old pint bottles and cigarette packs from the 20s.
Wow!
So that was kind of neat, and we carried it down 6 flights of stairs. So that was but
not fun.
No, not at all. And I have a piano.
Wow!
I have a really cool old metal sign that's a Evinrude metal sign from the 20s. It's really cool.
That's awesome.
I mean, everything in my house pretty much came through the store. So there's a lot of neat stuff. But
I'm sure you're like never ending updating your house because whenever you see something cool and
it's a challenge. I met my wife at the store, so we kind of have a rule: if something comes home, something else to go away. But
that's a good rule.
Yeah,
we've had a couple home organizers on, and they've said the same thing. Whenever you get something new, you got to let something go.
Well, in my experience, there's so much stuff. Doing this for 14 years, I mean, and filling, I don't know how many truckloads. There's so much stuff out there, and so. To covet one thing, it's tough though. I see some really cool stuff that I want to take home, and I kind of give it a 2-day thing. Or that Wolf cooktop, I might want that in my next house. Or so it's a challenge for sure. Yeah,
I'm sure. It's like having a shopping addiction and you're working at the store.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Every single day it is. There's something that I want to take home. Yeah. No more tchotchkes. Yeah. That's kind of the rule.
Yep.
And so
now it's just cool big stuff that.
Yeah. So. It's a challenge. It's a good challenge, though.
Yeah.
Hey, do people ever come back to you and maybe show you pictures of what they purchased from you, maybe refurbished it, reconditioned it, and then how they're using it in their particular home?
We encourage that. Yeah, obviously, we want to see people do it. All the time. Restaurant owners do it. Homeowners, people that just build furniture.
I was going to ask you about that, too. Is it just residential, or do you get a lot of commercial?
Oh, we get tons of commercial stuff. We just salvaged a lab in Fremont, the Allen Brain Institute.
We've had a couple clients that work there. Before when they were still in Fremont, before they moved to South Lake Union.
And it's going to be Google's taking it over.
Yeah.
We did the Miller Hole Partnership. A pretty well-known architecture firm downtown. They're renovating their offices. We've done churches, hospitals. We did a funeral home in Ballard, Wiggins and Sons, about 3 months ago, and that was a little weird. I didn't get to go in the basement, but the crew went down in the basement, and
creepy?
That was
just
very creepy,
just a little bit creepy.
Well, there was carts to hold caskets. So that was a little interesting.
Yeah.
Anybody lay on one and push around? Or
not while I was there, but I'm sure. Yeah, some of that stuff I tell them. I don't need to know. But,
exactly.
But lots of schools, churches, hospitals, restaurants. Everything, anything and everything. We actually salvaged some stuff in this building.
Oh, wow.
Carpet tile from this building, probably about 4 or 5 years ago. Tenant improvement.
Wow.
project. Yeah, so I knew right where I was going.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that made it easy to get here
So have
today.
you always been into like antiques or rustic type stuff or?
Not. I mean, my dad grew up on a farm, and so he was always really into old motorcycles and old cars and things like that. But I grew up in the '80s, and so I was into Nintendo and all that new stuff, and then. You get a little bit older and you kind of gain perspective. There's some really cool stuff out there. So I wouldn't say always, but I'm definitely into it now.
Yeah.
In the last 20 years or so, I've been into it. So,
Love it. Yeah, I think my wife's going to like you. We renovated or we built a farmhouse 2 years ago. It was a 1927 farmhouse with 2 barns.
Oh,
so
wow.
she had a heyday going through those barns and finding, we can talk about it off air sometime, but she's gonna love coming down there. This is a huge find.
Yeah, I know. I went there and bought some old fir flooring because I was redoing part of my which is now a rental in Wallingford, and part of the flooring got all messed up.
So you needed to patch in.
I just needed to patch it in, and that was the only way I could think to do it, and it made perfect sense.
Well, old growth fir flooring that's in a ton of houses in Seattle you can't find, and if you do find it, it's very expensive, and it's going to be thicker, and it's just not going to have that same look. So if you're renovating your old house and you need to take out some walls, you know, you get patches where the sill plate was. You need that fur flooring. So fur flooring is is coveted. And people are shocked because I'll go into a house and there's carpet. And I pull back the carpet, and they're like, "What do you know? Why are you doing that?" I'm looking for the fur flooring.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a big time find.
All right. So, Joel, this has been awesome so far. We're going to come back. Dan's got a ton more questions for you. So, stay tuned. After the break, we'll be back with Joel Blaschke, Ballard Reuse. Stay tuned. Seattle Real Estate Radio.
We're back with Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL AM. We are back with Joel Blaschke of Ballard Reuse, and Dan and I were just peppering him with questions in the break just now. Probably should have had that one recorded.
Probably should have it rolling. Yeah.
We can do it again.
Yeah, we'll do it again. So, Dan, why don't you ask all the questions we just asked?
Well, I love a lot of our guests because we get to find out kind of your backstory. And I love kind of your business model. I think it's brilliant, but I want to kind of dive deep into like contractors. So when people actually, specifically to a contractor, when they come in, what are they looking for?
So a contractor would either come in looking for, maybe like a specific piece of trim for a pre-1930s house, or, a homeowner sends them in on a hunt for a door. A lot of people need an access door, and they don't want to go buy a $300 specific cut access door where they can make it. Contractors are good at doing stuff like that. Some guys just come in and just looking for ideas for different people, maybe some accent tile. I mean, we're open 7 days a week, and we get some contractors come in every single day, and they're either working on their own house, or they're in there for somebody else, or they just want to hang out. Yeah. I mean, it's just one of those stores where
like
it's kind of a treasure hunt. Yeah. We get people in every single day, and we go, hey, Norm, how you doing? Yeah. I mean, there are people we know very well.
Is there an actual Norm? Because that would be awesome.
Jerry, the plumber, comes in. There's Z, the electrician. I mean, there's a lot of people that we know really well. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
This real estate agent named Christian.
Yeah, exactly. Christian Nossum just comes in there.
Yep.
It's kind of how you found him, right?
Pets our cats all the time.
He just comes in for the cat.
There are people that come in just for the cats. Yeah,
I have
they bring their
cats,
kids.
so I probably don't need to do that. But
I love it. Well, I asked you that because I kind of wanted to give our listeners kind of an idea of what comes in and what you cater to in regards to your clients. So, they may be looking for something specific to a 1930 home on, Capitol Hill or wherever it may be. So I think that's huge to understand. I think one of the other things I wanted to talk with you about is you have a lot of reclaimed doors. So if someone's looking for a door specifically, what should they consider before they come in? What kind of get them thinking in the right direction before they come in?
Well, obviously I would measure it many times, figure out which way it swings. Is it a solid door? Is it a single panel door, 5-panel? What kind of look are you looking for? Painted, unpainted? There's so many things to think about when looking for a door. I point people towards Frank Lumber. They have a great website, and they have a link on there that says what to look for when you're putting in a new door. Okay. But all our doors are solid for the most part. Yeah. We have about 400 to 500 doors. Probably a third of them are in the jam. So I would say measurements, and I'd say that's the key is probably figuring out measurements and be patient and
I'd say with doorways, like measuring the actual opening, measure at the bottom, measure at the top, measure in the middle, because there's a lot of settling that goes on in a house, especially that's going to be an older one, that door is going to fit the vintage, the era.
Yeah, most houses, if they're older than 50 years, are not square for the most part. I mean, they can be, but it's a challenge. And door hanging, I'm sure you guys know, that's kind of like a carpenter's, that's their intro, is like if you can hang a door. So it's not for everybody, but it can be done.
Yeah, I definitely can't do it. So,
But just, be patient with us. We don't have an online inventory. We measure all the doors, but a lot of it is kind of a treasure hunt.
Yeah. But just kind of fun, honestly.
Yeah. But we try to weed through the doors. They're not rotten. We don't take doors that are coming apart. They're good, solid doors that we have. So.
Yeah, and we talked about this too before we went to break, but with appliances, you're not taking just any type of appliance, correct?
No, so refrigerators and ranges don't have a lot of moving parts, but you start getting in dishwashers, washers, dryers are okay. But so any dishwasher over 5 years, we typically shy away unless it's a Mealy or something like that. They just
some high end.
Yeah, dishwashers are just notorious for not traveling well, and refrigerators can be challenging too. You lay it down, things like that. But a range, an apartment style range, you plug it in, it's good to go. A dryer, same thing. So we try to test them in the field, but yeah, for the most part, we're really thoughtful about that stuff. We don't try to bring in stuff that we don't want people to bring stuff back that doesn't work.
Exactly.
So
talking with Christian and talking with you over the break, your prices are just phenomenal on some of the. I mean, what'd you say you sold that wolf for $300?
Yeah, $200.
$200 for a wolf range.
Yeah, a cooktop. Yeah,
Cooktop.
but yeah,
Wow.
no, it's a great. I mean, we'll get a lot of high-end decor wall ovens and some of those prices, Gagano, Decor, Viking, you start getting into those. Yeah. You're talking this, an economy car, $3,000 to $4,000, $5,000 occasionally.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we're selling them for pretty reasonable price.
Yeah. Well, again, I want to bring up your Instagram, and you're going to get an idea of what's coming in. So, again, maybe, take some time to go over there and take a look at what they're doing. But something that I see my wife is kind of into this whole vintage and refurbished type stuff. It seems to be trendy right now. I don't know if it's just because I live with Jenny and she's super, into that stuff, but is it kind of trendy, the refurbishing and the vintage and the...
For sure, and I think Seattle, it's kind of built into people's, their mentality here to reuse. There's a lot of green things going on, but it's even expanding more into, people that typically would just go to Home Depot, I want new. More people are getting into it. I mean, you guys watch HGTV, there's all those shows, and they incorporate barnwood, and it still drives me nuts when they just throw the kitchen cabinets in the dumpster, but they do salvage some of the stuff. So yeah, I would say it's trendy. I mean, when the economy's good, we do well. When the economy's bad, we do well because people want to save money and they want to spend money. So we're as busy as we've ever been.
That's a pretty good business model to have.
Exactly.
Protecting yourself in either or. I mean, that's brilliant, man.
It's good. People want to remodel. When it's bad, they want to save money.
Yeah. So it's great. I mean, Seattle's weird. I don't know if people don't work or what, but it's Wednesday in this middle of the day, and the store is packed with people. And they have their lattes and their coffees, and they're in there with their, it's great. Yeah. We're always busy.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
I love it. So you mentioned so a few minutes ago you mentioned tile, like old tile. I think it was green or whatever color you said it was. Talk to me about some bathroom trends that you're seeing in your store.
So in our store, I think timeless subway tile, people are always looking for that stuff. Some of the new Ansax kind of stuff, like interlocking, retro-looking tile, people like. The tricky part with us is we're getting a lot of leftovers. So people, I'm sure if you guys have renovated a house, you've overbought, and you end up with 2 or 3 sheets. Yeah. So if you're looking for tile from us, I would say it's more like try to look for something as an accent tile. You're not going to do
You're not going to get enough to do a whole room
exactly.
Or anything. So
what you want to do is maybe find some cheap field tile from Home Depot, and then come into our store. Maybe you could find some high end, nicer tile.
That's a great idea.
So But, trends in bathrooms, vessel sinks seem like they're going away a little bit, and more like spa-like. That's what everybody wants, a freestanding tub kind of thing.
Like clawfoot tub. I was gonna ask you about the clawfoot tubs.
Yeah, they kind of come and come and go. I've been doing this 14 years, and when I first started, they were impossible to find, and then we got a lot of them, and then they got popular again, and now we're finding more and more of them. So it's just trends, and and they're really quaint. But if you use one every day, they're not the greatest thing to use. So if it's your spare bathroom, they're really cool, or you have an inn or something like that. They're really neat.
I hate
them. But they look cool. But functionally
they look cool.
But people still come in looking for them. If they're renovating an old farmhouse or something, they want
and it
that
makes
look.
sense for a specific bathroom that you're not using every single day. It makes sense. It looks cool. It's still usable.
Yeah.
It's just. Not
One
practical.
thing I'm noticing is everybody's ripping out those jetted tubs from the 90s, and Bellevue jetted tubs that took up a third of the bathroom that they never use.
And I tell people when they're looking at houses, they're like, "Oh, it's got a jetted tub, yes," and I'm like, honestly, you're probably never going to use that thing.
No, and
maybe you'll use it once.
Have fun cleaning those jets.
I know, and you're supposed to clean them like every 3 months.
No, it's kind of sad because those things they just end up in the dump. And they're off white or the plastic parts on the changed color. So those are going away.
Well, I know our listeners. We have listeners from Christian and I opened up today from Pierce County to Whatcom County up north in Bellingham, and obviously we've got clients all over the state too that tune into previous episodes. How far do you travel?
We would go anywhere in the state. We've gone to Oregon before. I mean, it's really depends on what the material is.
So is there an interview process over the phone for somebody outside of the Seattle area for you to go? You would, hey, maybe send us some photos, give us an idea of what you've got.
Exactly. They can fill out a form on our website, and then, or they can call me, and I usually call them back within 24 hours. And I know what kind of questions to ask people.
Okay.
Quantity, all that type of stuff. We can't go to Lake Stevens for a toilet, obviously, or a door. But if there's
sorry, Dan.
Yeah. But
I'll tell you what, man, you would love. I guarantee it if you went into one of our barns.
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, I'm going to send you some photos, and I think you might have some fun out there.
No, I'm willing to drive anywhere at any time if I think it's worth our while.
Cool.
So I'm not shy about that. I'm willing to. I go all over and look at stuff
for a good
every
find.
day. Yep.
Yeah, right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. Well, Ballard Reuse carefully salvages materials from houses, businesses, schools, restaurants, churches, pretty much anything else prior to a remodel or demolition. They also pick up materials that are no longer needed or wanted from your home or job site. The nice thing is they don't charge.
No.
They don't charge to take it out and remove it. Well, that's part of the reason why they're so popular and why they get so much inventory. So you'd be dealing with Joel in that regard. If you are interested in having them come out, obviously I'm going to give you their website, phone number, address, but I'm also going to tell you a little bit more about them too. But if you do end up giving them a bunch of materials, the thing that I just learned today, I did not know this, they can offer you either a tax donation receipt or store credit or cash.
That's awesome.
They'll actually pay you for that stuff. So that's pretty sweet. They're dedicated to keeping reusable materials out of the landfill as well as being a resource to the community for creativity and inspiration. They got a 10,000 square foot store located in the heart of Ballard, like we talked about earlier, 15th, just south of Market. They're on the east side of 15th from memory.
Yes.
Had to go picture it. Their address is 1440 Northwest 52nd Street in Seattle, 98107. Their phone number is 206-297-9119. That's 206-297-9119. Their website is ballardreuse.com, ballardreuse.com, all one word. They're on Instagram, Ballard_reuse. They're on Facebook, just look them up. Or you can even email the store at ballardreuse.com. So that is,
Well,
awesome.
It's just Christian.
It's so fun to walk through the store, though.
Yeah.
If you've never been there and you're just putzing around on a Saturday,
Yeah.
or apparently if you don't work on Wednesday, you can
Maybe.
go in there and you're gonna.
Yeah. Well, we've got another guest that came on. It's going to help our listeners save money or make money. So, hey, I really appreciate your time, Joel.
Yeah,
it's been
thank
great.
you, Joel.
Yeah,
That
this
was
has been great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. So that's it for Joel. We're going to come back. Dan's going to talk about the mortgage market and give you a heads up on there. So stay tuned.
Time for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller.
Hello, and welcome back to Seattle Real Estate Radio here on KKOL 1300 AM Business Radio. It is now, before we go anywhere else, it's the best part of the show, Dan's Mortgage Minute.
And
what
I'm
the heck is going on?
I'm going to bring it today.
You're going to bring it?
This is going to be
Normally
the best.
Dan sleeps during this part. Today he's going to bring it. I'm just
Normally
joking.
I sleep through the show and I wake up for this part.
There you go.
No, I'm joking with you. No, I'm going to bring you a good one today.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot to talk about.
Tons
so that
going
makes
on.
sense.
And, I want to keep this, I always say the word dummy down. It's bad. But, when I go and meet my CPA or financial planner and they say it, I get it and I respect it. But I try to present loan options and weekly updates to clients at the 5th grade level. And this is from my coach and an advisor that's been doing this for a long time. And because it is complicated.
Just a tad.
It's tad. And
Even for me, and I'm in the business.
well, and I was talking to my coach. I have our producers reminding me if I'm talking about mortgages, I've got to say my MLO number.
Yes,
hey,
you
listen,
do.
My name is Dan Keller. I'm a mortgage advisor at New American Funding. My MLO number is 115349.
There you go.
Boom. We're in compliance.
Boom.
Thank you, Shannon. But no, I was talking to my business coach, who happens to be a veteran loan officer and has had a hugely successful career. And, we were talking the other day about the radio and talking about mortgages and more specifically to the market and how it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, Dan, keep it simple. Keep it at the 3rd to 5th grade level, because here's the thing. If you start getting too in-depth, a listener out there is going to know way more than you know or would ever know. Like, I'm not going to kid you. There's people that know more about this stuff than I do, Christian.
Mm-hmm.
There are. I'm not the smartest. Period. No,
You're
but
smart, though.
like day traders and financial planners and economists.
In that regard, yeah.
Yeah, they're going to know more about the movement of bonds and stocks than I do, because that's not what I do. I follow them. I know enough about what's going on to be a master in our markets as it relates to mortgages. So I do. I want to keep it simple. What's going on right now is we've got a mess overseas. And you've heard me talk about this before. A lot of what happens overseas and a lot of what happens globally in regards to economies and war and natural disasters impact trading. So let me back up that we talked about this in our year in review a little, Christian.
Yep.
On Wall Street, everything functions money-wise, flows in and out with the Fed through Wall Street. Okay, so check this out. Investors, global investors, whomever, investors in general, park their money in stocks or in bonds. Mortgage rates are attached to bonds, okay? So if you see the stock market down or struggling, that means investors pulled money out of stocks and they've put them in bonds. Well, when they put money in bonds, it makes interest rates more attractive, okay? So that's what we're seeing right now, man. I don't want to talk about necessarily the ins and outs of what's going on, but in a nutshell, you've seen the stock market crash earlier this last week.
Yep.
And it's trying to recover, but it's not really. That's what's happening with China, with what's going on in Korea, with the H-bomb, with pick a nation, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, geez, pick Europe. Which part of Europe?
Yeah.
They're struggling. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on stocks. Remember, if stocks are down, typically it looks like interest rates are trending better. So those are kind of the variables that I tell my agents and my clients to watch. If we have a short-term rate lock strategy, like a 30 to 60-day window, those are things that we watch.
Got it.
Yeah. So that's it. That's my mortgage minute plus 3.
Well, I think that was a good one, though. I mean, obviously, I know that, but most people don't understand what drives interest rates. And again, like you've said, probably 5 different times, mortgage interest rates aren't the same as when the Fed changes rates.
Yes.
That's a different deal.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
I saw, the funny thing is, Christian, I saw a loan officer from a credit union. I'm not going to say the name because there's no need to throw people under the bus, but he was running Facebook ads the other day saying, lock in your rate before the next Fed movement. And he's a mortgage originator. I'm like, I almost wanted to share it and say, this is the indicator to not watch.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just, but there's so
This
many
is not the
people
right thing.
even in our industry, man.
Yeah, they just don't get it.
They're following the wrong indicators, giving poor advice to their clients. So make sure you're working with a pro. Bottom line, end of the day.
And that's why I work with you.
That's it.
So where can people get updates from you? How can, if people are in the market and they want to learn, hey, what kind of interest rate could I get today?
Well, it's if you're a past client of mine or if you're a current client of mine, you're going to I send out updates weekly, or if you're a past client of mine, maybe monthly, on things you need to know that may impact the direction in which you go in home ownership. But here's the thing, for the most part, I'm so active, and you are too, so active on social media, Christian, that follow me on Facebook, follow my business page, or all you got to look up is Dan Keller Mortgage, and you're going to see my business page. Yep. Search for that on Facebook, follow me there, follow me on Instagram. This is my life. I have a family, and I do mortgages.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it.
Really it.
That's really it.
I'm pretty much the same way.
Yeah. And when we can, fit in a little leisure time, we go out and maybe have a glass of wine together, you and I, or, with our friends. But that's about it, man.
Yep. Cool.
So.
All right. So I got to tell you about this book that I got, speaking of wine. I got this book called, it's actually hilarious. It's a scratch and sniff wine book.
Shut it down.
Yeah. So it teaches you about wine and you scratch and sniff the book to understand what you're supposed to be smelling with different types of wine.
Is Gary Vaynerchuk the author?
No, but you would think so.
Wow.
It's actually one of the. So there's only about. I think there's less than 200 grandmaster sommeliers in the world, and this guy is one of the 9 that passed that test, which is insane. If you ever watched the movie Somm, which is an awesome movie, but he passed that on the first try. He's one of 9 people to ever pass on the first try. So he's a smart dude, and he knows wine, and he wrote this book because he wanted to help people understand. And it's a pretty cool book.
Well, I mean, if you keep going on the path in which you're going to be the next grandmaster.
No, never. My nose does not work well enough for that. So, a couple things that we gotta plug real quick. One of them is the boat show. So, January 30th, Saturday, January 30th, we are going to be live at the boat show.
The boat show, the big Seattle. Remember that from back in the day? Okay, this is bad to admit, Christian. I've never, and you know how much I'm into the outdoors and fishing. I've never been.
I've never been to the boat show either.
But we're going to be live.
For you, it's a little worse because you actually have owned numerous boats.
Yeah,
and
never been. I've always had good boats. I don't want to go down there and be like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that, or I need it. I've always been content with what I have, but we've got a reason to go this year, so I'm really.
I know.
excited.
So we're going to be there from 1 to 2 o'clock live. So if anybody's going, stop by and say hi. We'd love to meet you.
See what we look like in real life.
Exactly. Or you could just watch the video.
Or watch the video.
And look at me playing on my phone right now.
Well, here's the thing, though. I've hired fishing guides before. I'm one of those guys that, much like when I got in the mortgage industry, I'm not going to spend 3, 4, 5, 6 years learning a craft. I went out and worked with the best. I hired the best. I learned it. And I went out and did it.
Yeah. So you jumped ahead numerous
I leaped
years.
over the curve. Yeah.
Exactly.
I did the same thing with fishing. So I've hired a couple of guides. I know they're going to be there because they're big sponsors. So if you're an outdoorsman, if you like to fish, you're going to want to tune into this because we're going to have. I got my fingers crossed on one of them. I want to get John Martinez with John's Sporting Goods. He's, one of my heroes in regards to being an outdoor, a fishing enthusiast. But I'm going to try to get him on. But for sure, we're going to have a couple of fishing guides on. Cool. And it's going to be fun, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Awesome.
So
I'm excited about that. So Joel Blaschke.
Yeah.
Ballard Reuse. That guy was awesome.
It was good.
So obviously Shannon and I, we bought a house last summer. It was I think it's 1946 house. It was kind of mid-century modern. It's got some needs that need to be taken care of here and there. If I or anyone else wanted to do a remodel, are there financing options? Real quick, what are they?
So I already took care of you, so you know how we did yours. So I'll explain if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we did with yours is obviously you got a mortgage. But what we did is we set up a HELOC for you, and it's not fully leveraged right now. So that's one, because you have equity and you put a fair amount of money down, you can draw on a HELOC up to, at some banks you can go all the way up to, I think, 100%, depending on if you're a veteran, up to 90% if you're not. So one option is get a mortgage and then go and get a HELOC. You can talk to me and I can refer you to a couple different places. We don't specifically do those in-house. The second thing is we do offer renovation loans. So that's another great option. So again, another conversation, but there are financing opportunities out there.
Cool. Well, thank you, Dan. So thank you, everyone, for listening. We had a great show. We had a lot of fun today. Make sure you tune in next Monday from 3 to 4 o'clock. We will be back with Tony from Dominion Pest Control to chat about unwanted guests that may or may not be in your home and how the hell to get rid of them. Yeah. So definitely tune in here, KKOL, 1300 AM, next Monday at 3 o'clock.
To contact the show or for more information, visit SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. That's SeattleRealEstateRadio.com. And be sure to tune in again next Monday at 3 for more Seattle Real Estate Radio with your hosts, Christian Nossum and Dan Keller, mortgage expert with New American Funding, right here on Business Radio 1300 KKOL.